Yo, what's up? This is Distorted Kicks here. I'm gonna show you today how to make a fast Artcore gabber lead, like one of those fast rhythmic leads. Like Artcore gabber. Yeah. So I'm gonna do it in Sylenth 1. I'm gonna show you a way to do pulse width modulation in Sylenth 1 because Sylenth 1 is not doesn't really have the capacity to do pulse width modulation on its own, but in Ableton Live, there's a way to do it. So I'm gonna show you that right now. I'm gonna open it live. Okay, first things first, I'm gonna open Sylenth 1. Now there is a reason I'm using Sylenth 1. Sylenth 1 has one of the best, some of the best sounding saw waves when you detune them. It just has it's it's almost as good as like a JP 8000 or even an Alpha Juno type saw structure, but it's internally missing the pulse width modulation. But like I said, I have a way of doing this in Ableton Live, routing stuff externally through, well, internally through Ableton, but externally from Sylenth. So first things first, I'm just gonna initialize this. I'm gonna turn off all the oscillators for right now. I'm gonna go to section B, and then I'm gonna turn on two sawtooths. There's one, two. As you notice, it just got louder. That's all it did. So the way to achieve pulse width modulation is on Sylenth 1 right here. This, this is the way I figured it out. I'm gonna make these two solid waves into a square wave by inverting one of them. So that's gonna cancel them out. It's gonna actually eventually cancel the sound out because it's inverted. But you'll see what I'm gonna do right now. So I'm gonna play something, and then when I invert it, it's gonna just you're gonna hear silence because it's phasing each other out pretty much. I'm still hitting keys, but you can't hear anything because it's phased out. It's canceled out. As I brought the phase up, you were able to hear something. So this is pretty much a square wave now, with these two sawtooth waves turned into one square wave that's able to be pulse width modulated by the oscillator B2 phase. So moving the phase actually achieves the pulse width modulation, but unfortunately, Sylenth 1 doesn't have a way to internally do this through the LFOs or even the envelopes. It has a way to do like the whole section, but I don't want the whole section. I just want oscillator B2's phase. So easy way to do this in Ableton Live is through the Max for Live set. I'm gonna open up an LFO for Max for Live. Okay, here it is. So all I gotta do is map this LFO to the phase of oscillator B2 and Sylenth 1. As you can see, it's moving. You can see on the actual synthesizer, you can see it moving. So that there already, it's already close to that Artcore gabber sound. So we're almost there. This is a type of sound I use a lot in my Cyber Demon tracks on Cinnabite Records and stuff like that. And it's pretty similar to the way everybody did or does this sound. But back in the days they used the Alpha Juno or maybe the JP 8000 even to make this kind of sound. But yeah, it's like I said, Sylenth makes a pretty good sound. It's one of the best sounding VSTs synthesizers. All right, so this part's done. So now I'm gonna add some fat saws and detune them. So that's pretty much it right there. But let me do it real quick. I'm gonna add the saws on part A of Silent One. Also gonna raise the polyphony up. I don't really play chords with it, but just in case I want to. All right, that's it. That's pretty much it. The sound you could add external effects and everything to taste. You could also add filtering to it, which I didn't do it here just to keep it simple. But you could also make it extremely crazy with some filtering on the filtering A or filter the B, whatever you want to do to get your own unique sound out of it. But that's the fat hardcore gabber lead right there. All right, see ya. Keep it hardcore.